program's assessment review process. Today it will be presented by myself and Mike Roney, who is the technical manager here at TRC. We'll also have our contact information up at the end of the webinar as well. Thank you for joining, and everyone is in listen-only mode at the moment. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter them into the GoToWebinar question box, and we will address the questions at different points throughout the presentation today. Quick overview of what we're going to be covering today is the test and submittal to the program. At this point, we've received quite a few test and submittals, and so we just want to recap what we're looking for in those test and submittals. We also want to enlighten you a little bit on our assessment review process, what we're looking for. Then go into a few things to just be aware of when you're building your models. And then we will also conduct a live assessment review. Some of you may have done this with your TRC assessment reviewer already, but those of you who have not, we would just like to kind of give you a sneak peek on what that process looks like. And then we'll provide you with a few resources for your assessment reviews, and then also would like to give you a brief update on the program enrollment and incentives reserved thus far. So your test and submittal to the program, the main documents that we're looking for are your ASHRAE Level 2 Energy Assessment Report, otherwise known as the Owner's Report. Also your combustion safety testing results and any required actions. And lastly, we're looking for your building energy simulation files and your Econ 2s. So these are the sort of high-level reports that we're looking for in your submittal package. And some of the supporting documents that can either be located within your reports or as separate documents submitted to the program. We're not too picky in the program about the format in which we receive supporting documents. We just ask that they are clear and do have all of the information that we're looking for. One resource I would like to point out is the Multifamily Upgrade Approved Rater and Contractor Handbook. This handbook is a great reference resource for all of you. If you have a question, feel free to take a look at this and give us a call if you're not able to find an answer or something's unclear to you. This handbook also has the energy modeling guidelines that will help guide you through some of the ways to model different system types and how the program requires a few things. Some of the supporting documents that we're looking for are building and site sketches that are clear and also list out the orientation of the buildings and what units are in each of the buildings. We're also looking for your CAS results and any required actions that are according to the handbook. This can come in the form of your actual CAS testing document or a separate report where you've summarized all of the results for the units and central systems that you've tested on site. Secondly, we're looking for your data collection forms. If you haven't already included that detailed information in your owner's report, please provide a supplemental data collection form. Secondly, we're looking for the estimated construction schedule for the program, for the project. And we're also looking for all the Econ 2s for each of the buildings. And lastly, we're looking for specifications on things such as windows, mechanical systems, anything that you have to provide specifications for, please provide those in a separate document. And we're also looking for any special calculations that you are including in the model, such as low flow or aerators. Those require special calculations, and we're looking for how you calculated that, and also what source you used to calculate those savings. So the owner's report, basically this is a written narrative that describes the existing property conditions. And the following categories are what we're looking for within this report. So we're trying to gauge the date the site was visited, any site details that we should be aware of, the building envelope, what the condition is, windows, walls, and roof type. We're also looking for the building mechanical and electrical system details, and if there are any mechanical rooms on site where there are central boilers or domestic hot water, we're looking for where those are located on the property and what is included in those rooms. Also, if there are any common areas, please do call those out in the report or even highlight them on your property sketch. And lastly, we're looking for anything related to the dwelling units as it relates to health and safety and energy efficiency conservation for the program. So essentially, all of the participating raters in the program, you are the eyes and ears for us on the site. And so we essentially need to know what you found on the site, and if something wasn't able to be located on the site, such as a domestic hot water nameplate information, where you got that information is helpful to us. So the assessment review process, so after you have submitted your required materials for the program, what we're going to do is we're going to look at that all of the qualifying documents have been submitted. And qualifying documents for the program are the application, and also that the contractor and rater have been officially approved in the program. Next, we will look at all of the required materials that have been submitted by the raters. This is essentially, we are checking the energy model inputs against the supporting documents. So like I said before, you guys are the eyes and ears on the ground for us, and when you create the models, we are simply verifying your model inputs against the documents that you submit to us. After we have done that, we're going to provide some comments back to the rater and also schedule a live assessment review to go over those comments and work through any questions that you guys might have. So what we look for in the models and also the supporting documents is, how did you get here? So essentially, we're asking that you provide two sources, the model and where you found that information. And this can be located within the ASHRAE Level 2 assessment report. And as many of you know, this is a pretty detailed report. So the more the detail, the better for us, and the less comments you'll likely receive back. An important thing is to assume nothing. The details do matter. So the number of dwelling units assessed is important. We need to know what unit numbers in which buildings you visited, so we can make sure that the sampling protocols have been met. We're also, like I mentioned before, looking for efficiencies of mechanical systems and appliances. We're looking for sizes of windows and walls and the height of ceilings. We're also, if you, as I mentioned before, we're not able to find specifications for systems, defaults are available to use as modeling inputs. However, we do need you to know where you did find those defaults. Was it a ResNet default or other source? And lastly, if you've made any assumptions about the building that cannot be verified through one of your supporting documents, please write it down. That way, as I mentioned before, it'll be less comments back to you. So essentially, as I said before, our process is that the model should match the report and data collection. So for example, if your model has a certain square footage, your drawing and/or assessment report should also show the same square footage. If they don't match up, that will likely be a comment back from us asking where the discrepancy is. So as you're building your building model, there are just a few things we'd like you guys to be aware of. These are things that we have been finding in some of the projects that have been submitted thus far, and things we just like you to be aware of. So at the building level, just a reminder that lighting is per unit for both inside and outside lighting. Also, list the number of units you inspected plus their unit numbers. This can be in the remarks section of the building model, or it can also be located in your assessment report or supporting document. We also are finding some mistakes with orientation and rotation. This is something where a lot of times if you have buildings that are similar on site, one model will be created and copied for another building, and the rotation wasn't correctly addressed. And lastly, at the building level, we're also looking for appliances. Sometimes we're finding that it's not clear from the models what appliances are in the units and where they are located. So documenting these in your assessment report is very important. At the plant level in the model, we're also asking that if you have any issues modeling the domestic hot water system, a really good reference to, as a start, is to look at the modeling guidelines, which are in the Contractor and Rater Handbook. This is a great first resource, or the Energy Pro library also can walk you through that. And please also call your program assessment reviewer if you have any questions also. We're happy to help. So looking at the domestic hot water system, one of the common mistakes is if the system serves more than 8 units in a building, the multifamily central system box needs to be checked. And we'll go into examples of some of these in an actual model here in just a moment. Additionally, if that box is checked, the pumping and piping details need to also be filled in and documented in your supporting documents. Another area is the solar thermal system. If there's an existing system, this does need to be modeled. If there's a new system being in place, this is not an eligible measure for the program, so therefore it cannot be modeled in the energy report. Lastly, something else to pay attention about at the plant level is what type of system is being modeled, if it's an indirect gas-fired system or a direct gas-fired system. And lastly, your thermostat type is also very important for our review process, and also including this in your supporting document. At the room level, here are some other areas where we're seeing some common mistakes is the floor area and ceiling height. And also, if you have operable windows on site, there's also another little checkbox within the window assembly to be checked. Thirdly, if there's any exterior shading or side fins, those also need to be modeled properly and documented. The slab perimeter, the roof construction type is also a common area, whether it's an attic or cathedral construction. And also the roof orientation. This only needs to be addressed if there are skylights in the building. If not, this can just be left alone. And lastly, if you're creating a new assembly, whether it be a wall or a roof assembly, beware what type of assembly is being copied. We'll go into an example of what some of the mistakes there are in copying assemblies in just a moment. So now I would like to go into what a live assessment review will look like. So I have my colleague Mike Maroney also on the phone, and we would like to go through what a live assessment review typically looks like. So what we'll do after we've looked at all of your documents and your models, we're going to provide you with some of our comments. And they will come in this format that's up on the screen. And this will tell you where within the model the comments or revisions we're asking for are located. And typically we'd like to just, we'll describe the discrepancy that we found, and then we're going to schedule a phone call with you to just go over these and even help you do live changes. So Mike, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, great. So Mike is playing the role today of one of our lovely raters, and I will be the assessment reviewer. So Mike, thanks for joining me today, and I would like to just go over some of the comments that I found within your project Holly Hill. These comments, there's just a few at the building level. There's a few also relating to the domestic hot water system. Also, just a few clarifications on your heating and cooling system. And then also some square footage questions at the room level within the building. So if you'd like, I will turn it over to you, and you can open up your building model, and we'll walk through each of these comments together.
Okay. So you want me to open my Energy Pro model?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great. So if you could, the first comment that I had is, on your building sketch, the front orientation is labeled as north. However, the model has a 90-degree rotation in it. Could you just please clarify, is the building in fact oriented north? And if it's not, let's get that fixed.
No, that's a mistake. So I think that might have just been carried over from another model I was working on. So this should be, the building should be oriented the way that I've documented it in the assessment report. So south and then just no rotation.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for adjusting that. Secondly, if you could navigate to the refrigerator portion in the HERS tab. Great.
Okay.
So here I found in your model, the inside refrigerator is listed as 472 kilowatt hours per year. However, in your data collection report, I found there were several different refrigerator numbers, and I was just wondering if what you have in the model is a weighted average based on your sampling plan, or where you got this number.
This number here, the 472?
Yes.
Yeah, so there were a variety of refrigerators that I found, and then I just took an average of those numbers. I didn't know how to submit that to you, though, if you even wanted that information. So you want to see this information?
Yes, so I'd like to see how you came about getting that average number for your model. So it can be...
Is it okay to submit something as simple as just a spreadsheet listing of the calculation?
Yep, that is perfect. That's all I need. I just need to know how you got to the 472 number.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'll send this to you in the second submittal, but this is the right number.
Okay, great. Sounds good. The second question I have still in this tab is the data sheets did not indicate the location of any on-premise laundry. Could you just please confirm the washer and dryers are not in the units and where they're located?
Yes. Yeah, the laundry is not in the units. There's no common area laundry system in this building. There's a separate building that's got the laundry attached to it, so they're configured none here. Do I need to update the report, or do you have all the information you need?
We can just document this in the comments sheet that we're working in right now,
Okay.
and you can submit that way. But for future reference, please just put that in the report. That would be helpful.
Okay, will do.
Okay, great. So if you can move to the plant level, I have just a few questions here for you. So relating to the domestic hot water system, it looks like there are 20 units in this model. However, there is just a multiplier of 2 domestic hot water systems. Are there 2 hot water systems for the entire building?
No, so I am averaging these across multiple buildings. So these are this should be the correct scenario. Did I not send you the domestic hot water averages listing worksheet?
No, you did not.
Okay, I will include that in my submittal back to you. But I do have the averages, like I did for the refrigerators, to come up with this number here.
Okay, great. So if there are, as I mentioned before, 8 or more units in a building that are being serviced by 1 or more domestic hot water systems, we do need you to check the multifamily central system box right there underneath the multiplier.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, and then just please fill in what the pump and piping specifications are. And also please supply that in your supporting documents so I know how you came to those conclusions for the piping estimates.
Okay, I'll take a look, another look at those numbers, and I'll edit this, and I'll make sure that I send it to you in the worksheet. Wonderful,
thank you. So next, if you could navigate to your HVAC system. And then open up your existing system type, please. Great. So this is another area where it looks like you've possibly used averages for your total outputs for heating and cooling. However, your data collection forms list out that there are multiple varying systems with varying outputs and EERs. Is that the case?
Yes. Again, so I have this spreadsheet with all these averages tabs. So I can just send this back to you with the data listed here, and that should give you the information you need. Does that work for you for the heating system and cooling system output calculations that I did?
Yep, this is very straightforward and exactly what I was looking for. So yes, please submit this in your second submittal.
Okay, so if I should just send this to you I should just send any of these kinds of calculations that I have, regardless of whether or not they're going to be, it's not formatted, it's not very clean and clear, but you can just use this as a reference.
Yep, whatever you use to come to the conclusion of your model inputs, please just send me that information at the get-go, and I can use that to understand how you came to these inputs for the model.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And just one last thing on this, if you could just go to the heating tab as well. So for here, your efficiency for this gas wall furnace, did you use a default value here?
Yes, that's the default value based on the age rating of the system.
Great. So if you could just provide your source and document that in the comments sheet of our spreadsheet we're working in, and also for future projects. Any default values, we just need to know what source you use and what the value is.
Got it.
Great. And if you can cancel out of this one and go into the HERS Credits tab. Great. So for the building leakage testing, it shows that you did do testing, and unfortunately for the program, this isn't an eligible measure and will impact the model. So what we ask is that you change the building leakage testing to no testing. So if you just click where you have currently airflow, there you go. Great. And then that won't impact the energy savings within this model.
Okay.
Great. All right, so we can move on to the zone level. We can start at the first floor there. So my first question is, if you go to the Occupant tab. Oh, thank you. Yep, in here, so your occupancy is listed as single family, and this is a multifamily program, so you just need to switch it to multifamily.
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. I think I probably started with an existing model.
Okay, no problem.
So I need to do that then for all of the floors, right?
Yes.
Looks like I got some of these other ones already. Okay. So we're good to go there.
Great. All right. So the floor area, if you go to the room level, so what I found on the data collection is the floor area on each floor to be 8,500 square feet. So for a total of 17,000 square feet. However, the model, when I add it up, only equates to approximately 15,000 square feet. Can you just clarify what the correct floor area is?
Yeah, so I actually measured this on site, and I'm looking at my sketch now, and I think my sketch is off. This number, because I know I did the calculation 3 times, I think this number is more probably more close to what actually is the square footage of the first floor area, and the sketch is wrong. So I'll correct the sketch and then send that back to you. Do I have to correct the model if I have the sketch wrong?
If you have the sketch wrong, please just correct the sketch. If the model is correct and they match, then you're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the sketch on this one that's wrong. So I'll leave this here, and then I'll correct the sketch to match what's in the model. Okay,
great. So the next comment I have is your occupancies for each floor don't add up to the 20, for the bedrooms, don't seem to add up. So if you could navigate to the Occupant tab for this floor, here it seems like on your data collection, each floor has 10 kitchens and 16 bedrooms. But on the second floor, maybe this is just a typo, the number of bedrooms is only 12. Could you just clarify how many bedrooms are in total and on the second floor there?
Yeah, this number is wrong. There's 8 2-bedrooms on each floor, so this should be 16. And I'll save this and send it back to you. Okay,
great. Thank you very much. So in your windows, if you could just open up your first floor room level there. Great. So all of your window areas are corrected, but it seems like there might have been a typo for the window area on the right wall, the first window there. Yeah, so if you click on your second one, your area is 21.4 square feet, and your first one is labeled as 53.4. So I think that might just also be a typo.
That's just wrong. Thanks. Sorry.
Okay, great. No problem. And also I have another question about the windows. If you could open up your existing window there. Are these windows operable?
Operable, like can the tenants open them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here?
Yep. So you just need to check the operable button there.
That changes it. Oh, okay. All right.
Great. Yeah, so if you change it here, it's now changed for all single metal clear windows.
Great.
There you go. Great. And if you can click on the exterior shading tab for me. It looks like the pictures that you submitted show a large overhang on this building, but the model doesn't have any overhangs modeled. Could you please let me know what type of overhang is on this property, and I can help walk you through how to model that.
Yeah, they have kind of the standard 4-foot architectural feature overhang that you can see in the pictures. Those are the what's in the picture is accurate, and I didn't know that I should include it here.
Okay, yep, it would be helpful if also on your sketches you just indicate what the overhang length is. It's hard to tell sometimes from the pictures what the length is. So all you have to do in the model is go to the overhang and click on that box there.
Right here? Do I need to add a window height or width?
Yes.
Or do I just go here? Okay.
But you can just go to overhang for right now.
Okay. All right.
Great. So here they have sort of a library you can choose from, and so it sounds like this is just a standard 4-foot overhang. So you can just select that overhang for that, and there you go. All right. Any questions on the overhang?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, great. So just a few more comments here. If you could navigate to your slab. Once again, it seems like the model and the sketch have different areas for the slab. If you could just check the model versus what your sketch is and adjust that accordingly, that would be great.
Okay. I think that this value matches my new floor area, which was wrong from what was in the sketch. I think this is the 7612. Let me just check. Yeah, 7612. Yeah, I think this slab number is the right number.
Okay, great. On your sketch, when you submit your new dimensions, that math will probably play out just fine. And so also my second comment within the slab is the perimeter in the model also doesn't match what's on the sketch. So just verify when you redo your sketch that your model inputs are the same as the sketch.
Okay, and I'll label these on the sketch too.
Thank you. All right, and last comment is if you could navigate to your roof assembly.
Yep.
All right, so on your data collection it indicates that it's a cathedral construction type with no insulation. However, if you click on your existing assembly type,
yep.
Your description says R0 roof cathedral. However, if you look down within the insulation, it says that this is an R11 roof. So I was just curious, did you possibly create a new roof or copy from something else? And is it in fact no insulation in the roof?
I think that I didn't know how to create a new one, so I just picked one and then renamed it. Is that not the right approach?
It's not. So the thing to keep in mind is the name of the roof has no impact on what the actual roof assembly is like. So for this example, if you wanted to select the R0 roof cathedral, the one just below where you've clicked, you'll see that the installation says none there. And that would be the proper assembly to select.
Okay, I'll change that.
Great. All right, so Mike, those are all the questions and comments that I had for today. So if you could pull up your the working comments that I sent you, and then we can just take a quick look at the notes that you've taken.
Okay.
Great. So in a typical review, the process is going to be that we'll submit you the comments, and what we'll have the energy analyst do is simply write down the answers to the comments and then also initial and date the comments. So in this case, Mike, we will have you not only give us the comments, but also if you've are going to supply us with corrected supporting documents, please just also indicate that in your comment and submit that in your revised submittal package. Does that make sense?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, great. And
then I can just add these worksheets here that I've that we were talking about before with the weighted averages for some of the calculations that I've done. Can I attach these here and send them back to you?
Absolutely. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Great. All right, so that was our live mock assessment review. So Mike, if you could turn control back over to me. Okay, great. So the live assessment review that we will be doing over the phone with the raters, it's just meant to be a conversation, and we want to help you create the most accurate models possible. So sometimes there are just a few comments, and sometimes there are several comments that will likely require, quite a bit of dialogue and adjustment. But please use us. We're a resource for you guys, and we're happy to assist at any time. So I just wanted to let you guys know of a few resources at your disposal. The Multifamily Upgrade website has some information about the program and the requirements, and also the probably most important document for you all is the Contractor and Rater Handbook, which is located on the program portal website. And all of you should have received login information to access the website. And we also have that as a PDF that we can also email you. And we will post any updated versions of the handbook on the program portal as well. So with that, Mike, are there any questions at all that have come in?
Nope, none so far.
All right, wonderful. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike, and if you have any questions about the assessment walkthrough that we just conducted, please type in your questions and we'll answer them. But I'm going to turn it over to Mike now so he can give you a update on the status of the program.
Great, thanks. So just wanted to give you guys some feedback about where we're at so far in program processing. Our average savings to date, which we are tracking in terms of performance of the program, but I wanted to provide you as a milestone for you to be able to evaluate the performance of your individual projects if you're interested. So our average savings on kWh, kW, and therms per unit are shown across the top of the screen. Just to give you some perspective, these numbers are the kW and the therms per unit numbers are slightly higher than we were expecting, and the kWh per unit number is slightly lower than we were expecting. And by we were expecting, I mean data that we've seen in other programs and similar project types. So it's a little bit interesting feedback to know that so far we're collecting a lot of savings per unit on therms and a lot of savings on the demand reduction on the kW savings per unit, and less savings than we were expecting on the kWh per unit, which is electricity. So that's a little bit of an interesting finding. So far, the range of projects that we've had submitted is almost our entire incentive scale. So we've had relatively small scope projects come in at 10%, and a couple very high performing projects coming in at 45%, and another one I think at 43%. But our average is shown there on the screen of about 26% on average. So far we've enrolled 350 units and we've reserved approximately $250,000. There's plenty more opportunity in the program, and the projects are not enrolled in the program until they complete the assessment review process, which we showed you today. So please submit interest forms, project applications, and continue working on your existing projects. And we will work with you to get through assessment review as quickly as possible. One of the reasons that we wanted to show you this presentation today is that we would like to implement this live assessment review comments process on all projects moving forward to avoid a long back and forth assessment review period that sometimes happens between the program and the energy rater. So look forward to this process if you haven't already been invited to it by us, as we will be shifting to a live assessment review in the coming projects that we enroll. I'm happy to give you more information or more feedback if you have unique questions about the status of the program, or if you have any other questions, please feel free to speak up now or send it to us at any time by email. If there aren't any questions, and it looks like there's not any questions or comments from chat, I think we'll go ahead and close it up. So thank you, Stephanie, for walking us through the most common pitfalls in assessment review, and thank you everyone for attending our mock assessment review live demo. Hope it was useful for you, and as always, we'll be recording this information and posting it on our website and our YouTube page. One question came in right at the end here. I think I'll just address it now. Can we model per unit instead of per building? We would prefer that you model on a whole building basis, as it's easier for us to review and for you to make changes if there are any errors that need to be remedied. But if you need to model on a per unit basis for some other scenario, as long as the building is built correctly, we will review it. So you can model on a per unit basis. We would prefer and recommend that you model on a per building basis. And I think there are no other questions or comments from chat. So if you would like to get a hold of us, please reach out by email or phone, or otherwise we look forward to working with you on your projects in the program. Thank you very much.